So
What was
Jake,
it?
you and I are splitting the
changes?
screen.
The change was the word Carter to Target. Or the name Carter to Target.
Perfect. I just want to grab a copy of it.
I usually check that email before I come back, and I did not do that today. Of course.
Okay, I've got it. Wait,
I haven't pressed record yet, but I'll get it whenever.
But I think we're live right now too, so you can go ahead and do that. I just needed to grab that copy and move it into my folder. But shockingly, it said download and it did not. All right, I can grab it later. This is just that one change. All right.
I put it in the April.
Yeah, I see it, but when I click on it to, well, it would help if I grab the folder file from the minutes and not the agenda. All right, I got a copy of it now. Perfect. All right. It is 6:02. We'll call the meeting to order. We've all received the updated minutes as well. So do I have a motion to approve the March 11th, 2026 Benton Township minutes?
I motion to approve the March 11th, 2026 township minutes.
Second.
Okay, we'll vote by roll call in alphabetical order by last name. Please respond with yes, no, or abstain. Dodds?
Yes.
Husk? Yes. McInerney?
Yes.
Motion passes. Next up, we have our reports, starting with the financial report.
For March, for our Township Roads and Infrastructure Fund, we have 0 spent, 0 year-to-date expenses, 0 remaining approved budget, 0 cash balance. In our rainy day fund, we had 0 expended in March, 0 year-to-date expenses, 0 remaining approved budget, and a cash balance of $42,434.91. In our township fund, we spent $7,238.40 in March, leaving our year-to-date expenses of $13,784.32 and a remaining approved budget of $101,215.68 and a cash balance of $98,643.15. In our Township Assistance Fund, we had $0 spent in March, leaving our year-to-date expenses of $324.40, a remaining approved budget of $19,675.60, and cash balance of $123,288.26. In our Recreation Fund, we had $869.79 spent in March, leaving year-to-date expenses of $1,580.50. A remaining approved budget of $4,919.68 and cash balance of $11,948.11. Our COVID donation fund stands at $450.22. Our volunteer fire department donation fund stands at $3,378.70. We had no irregular deposits. Our local income tax was our usual $1,382.83. And our Trust Indiana account earned $700.35.
Board have any questions? Nope. All right, hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the financial report?
I motion to approve the financial report.
Second.
Dodds?
Yes.
Husk? Yes. McInerney?
Yes.
Motion passes. Next up, we have the trustees report.
In regards to our website, our test site has been released to us, but I have not been able to log in. The person who is able to grant access is on PTO. As far as cemetery updates, the Morgan Monroe State Forest staff contacted me about a package that had been left in the cemetery. After staff had determined it was a benign package, they opened it to discover some money along with some large black crystals. They are holding these items for me to pick up. According to the internet, the crystals are to protect against negative energy. I will probably consult my former colleagues at the Department of Folklore and Ethnomusicology to see what the proper way is to move forward with this gift. The 2026 mowing contract has been awarded to Otterman LLC. This will be the 4th season that he will be working for us. Updates to our water damage. The restoration company was to repair the damaged areas due to our water dam. They were supposed to repair it on Monday. However, due to illness, this was rescheduled. As far as Danny Smith Park updates. Number 1, I have now received invoices from Danny Smith Park totaling approximately $25,000 for reimbursement of previously agreed upon project expenses. However, this request did not come in time for me to complete the additional appropriations paperwork ahead of this meeting. At this point, we have 2 options. Number 1, we can proceed with reimbursement now with the understanding that the board intends to approve the 2026 additional appropriation at the next meeting, or I can wait to issue payment until after the next meeting. What do you prefer?
Anybody have any comment? I'm fine with it.
Oh, as a reminder, the additional appropriations were approved last year, but were not utilized at that time because the invoices had not been submitted.
Yeah, I see no problem with going ahead and issuing payment unless the board has any objection.
No, if they did the work, they get paid.
Yeah, is it, I assume it's just for the things that she said that they had completed the last time, the last meeting? Yeah. Yeah, it's,
Yeah, no new items like a slushing machine or anything.
Well, that's number 2.
Okay. Okay.
I was also notified there were some adjustments to the work that was done. The lighting contractor gave them a discount to replace light pole on field 2 and install the batting cage lights. They are $2,900 under budget for these projects. However, at the same time, the board also decided to better insulate the concession stand prior to the installation of the HVAC system. The cost for the installation project after 50% discount by the contractor is $1,986. So they are applying for reimbursement for this project, even though it was not approved by Benton Township. If this cannot be approved, we understand. So we did allow them some flexibility to make these kind of decisions in our contract, but I was just wondering, they're still below target for this project. How do you feel about reimbursing them for the installation?
So they were replacing the air conditioning unit, right? And
Yes.
then they needed to potentially do a little bit more insulation probably around that to make sure it was solid. I mean, the whole point was to keep the place cool. So from my perspective, a little bit of extra insulation, if that actually helps, all the better.
Is this something that you just would like to add on an ad hoc basis, or do you want to add an addendum to the contract? We did, like I said, allow for some flexibility in the contract for them to make these type of decisions.
I don't know if they'd be, I mean, they're still under, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, I don't foresee any need to make any additional changes. I think this is within the guidelines of what we asked for, so I don't think, because that would require, would that have to go back and forth again? Yeah, I don't think that's necessary unless the board has any objections. Okay.
Okay. Monroe Fire Protection District updates. I have some exciting news. The monitors are expected for delivery any day. When they arrive, they will immediately be put together and programmed. Once that's done, they will be distributed to stations along with one-on-one refresher training. The hope is to have all of them in service by the end of the month. The Fire Protection District has offered to come demo the machines at next month's meeting. Would that be of interest?
Yes.
I guess we have a yes.
Yeah.
And a volunteer?
yeah.
I want to know that they work.
Yeah,
I mean,
I mean, it's fine. I think that would be great.
Senior Center updates. I met with Unionville Senior Center President Mike Tarter along with his wife Sandy and Unionville Senior Center Treasurer Dolores about updates that were budgeted with our 2025 capital improvement plan. We agreed that the first priority was to, 1, update toilets and faucets and restrooms for a better experience. 2, replace an aging refrigerator that was leaking Freon. 3, a quote to replace the 30-year-old carpet in the kitchen or all of the senior center and potentially the township office for easier cleaning. Depending on the cost of these projects, other projects that are on our list but are waiting for a phase 2 include updating the light fixtures to be less harsh and nicer looking, updating the paint on the walls and framing, gutter repair over the kitchen window, and to fix concrete to address cracks and unevenness. I realized that our capital improvement plan was based on a maximum allocation of local income tax, and since I remembered since last month that this is only a projection and not a guarantee, I decided to cut back on the scale of this project to target around 15,000 and to hold off on other projects until we know for sure that we would be receiving funding to continue essential operations. However, the toilets, the faucets, and the refrigerator were done, and then we've also had someone out here to give a quote for the flooring. Meeting with County Council Long-Term Finance Committee. With 2025's SCA 1, both property tax as well as local income tax reform is in progress. With local income tax, this major source of funding will go through a request approval process starting this year, and the Monroe County Council will be the deciding factor on how to divide up allocations within Monroe County units. On March 31st, the Monroe County Trustees Association appeared before the Monroe County Council's Long-Term Finance Committee, comprising of Marty Hawk, Liz Feidel, and Peter Iverson, to ask for the Monroe County Township's current share of revenues, plus a slight increase to account for rising operational costs and township assistance applications. So this amount would be $1.67 million is what we all have gotten this year. However, we were met with the messages of everyone has needs. Have you talked to the other entities on how you all will share, as well as what is the status of township consolidation, whether voluntarily or through Senate Bill 270. As such, Monroe County trustees are trying to get a best case, worst case scenario figures for long-term planning. However, I did think that that was an interesting response, and honestly, a little discouraging. The status of the North Tunnel Road property. I received the 100-year report from the title company that indicates we are the proper owners of this parcel and that there are no issues or easements. I contacted an appraiser to give us fair market value for the property. This timeline should be 2 to 3 weeks, and the 3 weeks will be this Friday. And the interested party has been notified of these updates.
Does the board have any questions?
No.
Hearing none. Do I have a motion to approve the trustees report?
I motion to approve the trustees report.
Second.
Okay, we'll vote by roll call. Dodds?
Yes.
Husk? Yes. McInerney?
Yes.
Motion passes. And finally, the last report, the township assistance report.
On March 3rd, a person requested more information about township assistance through the Find Help web portal. A follow-up email was sent, but no further contact has been made. It is not known if this person is a township resident. This is our third request for this year, unknown if they're a resident. On March 16th, a Benton Township resident called asking for transportation resources or township services for transportation for medical appointments and to get groceries. They were referred to Rural Transit, Area 10 Agency on Aging, Be Loved Classic Medicab, Safe Med Transport, and Southeast Transportation. This would make our fourth request for the year and the second one of a verified Benton Township resident. On March 31st, a Clear Creek resident called asking for assistance for rent. They were referred to the Clear Creek Township trustee. This makes our request the fifth for the year and only second for the resident. And one application for the year. And I was trying to think back, I think our last actual application was last summer.
Wow. Board have any questions or comments?
No.
Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the township assistance report?
I motion to approve the township assistance report.
Second.
Okay, we'll vote by roll call. Dodds?
Yes.
Husk? Yes. McInerney?
Yes.
Motion passes. I think that we were gonna, do you want to tap on it, touch on it?
Yeah,
Okay, so for old board business, we have a review of the pros and cons of consolidation.
one thing to think of, if the local income tax council does not, I'm sorry, the Monroe County Council does not grant any townships, local income tax. I just wanted to say from our perspective, local income tax provides 28.8% of total revenue for the year. So, you know, that would be a pretty significant hit if we did not receive that money. The other thing, just it's a draft. I decided to make a pros and cons list for if we were to consolidate from the perspective of township assistance benefits, township assistance drawback. I call this other business benefits, so like the operation of, you know, the office. So other operational benefits, I guess is what I can call it. And then other operational drawbacks. I have taxpayer benefits and taxpayer drawbacks. And then county level benefits and county level drawbacks, and state level benefits and state level drawbacks. So I would encourage you to, you know, brainstorm on your own, come up with some different things that we can add to this list to kind of keep this conversation going.
All right, and we have one item in new board business, and that's the 2026 Township Assistance Guidelines. It looks like there are very few changes to the document.
You know, it's really hard when we don't have any township assistance applications to kind of reflect on our guidelines to see if we need to make any changes.
How they fit in there. So
the ones that I had were on page 1, 11, IIA. I removed the office is no longer staffed part-time and said appointments with the trustee are available upon request. On page 5, IIIB, I added the caseworker may be the trustee because we talk a lot here about a caseworker. And even though we no longer have a part-time person in this office, I don't necessarily want to remove all references to caseworker in here. On page number 6, this actually came up because of an application. So under B, all eligible household members will be required to show evidence of employment or unemployed of seeking employment at a minimum of 3 establishments. Add the word companies each week. We had somebody who was, you know, trying to get additional jobs, being self-employed, and I don't think that's really the intent of what the requirement is. I think it's actually going and working for a standalone company. The next one I have was page 14, item 17. I updated the Indiana Code of conviction of an offense under welfare fraud. The original citation that was there was repealed. So now the citation is 1226.6.5. And then on page 17, the application process, we didn't really have a good definition of the household members or members of the applicant household. However, I was reading something somewhere this year that actually states that a household is defined as any of the following: 1, an individual living alone; 2, a family related by blood; or 3, a group of individuals living together at one residence as a domestic unit with mutual economic dependency. Indiana Code 12-7-2-110.5. So I thought that was good. We do sometimes have to refer to this for an ongoing client. On page 19, I updated the poverty guidelines for the contiguous states to the 2026 guidelines. And then page 20, I updated the SNAP benefits by household size fiscal year 2026. I also took a look at the maximum utility and rent benefit through the Bloomington Housing Authority, and they still have 2025 values on there. So I just left that as is. So those were the proposed changes.
Section 2 on page 17.
Okay.
Did you make any changes since it was uploaded? Because that doesn't, actually, a little different. It doesn't read as a paragraph.
That's what I have.
Yeah, so household members are members of the applicant's households, includes, defines a household.
As any of the following?
Includes, defines?
Well, okay, so you would take out,
So I would change it, are defined as any of the following.
That's what I'm seeing. Is that,
Did I grab an earlier copy?
the copy that I pulled up says are defined as in red, but then it goes to as any. There's part of it's crossed out.
Yeah, well, no, so on mine, it actually reads, unless I'm not getting the.
Maybe I opened yours, I don't know.
Oh, I think I was changing that. Maybe I was changing that online and I didn't realize it. Because I thought I was in Word, but I guess I was, but I opened up the one online and then when I changed it, it actually uploaded the changes. So
Oh, okay.
that was my change.
Okay.
Yeah, that was an earlier change that I made, I guess. Okay.
all right, so I do notice that our spacing also got kind of wacky, so I'll just double check our page numbers and I'll have this changed for next time. Is that what you're proposing?
Yeah, that was it. And it could have been the version that I have that when I edited it, it did seem to get all wacky. I was going to have you make the changes on your end. All right, so we don't need you don't want to, we'll just approve it next meeting. Okay.
Do you think the trend is going to continue towards lesser and lesser people applying?
I mean, from
Because
the
it
last
seems like
meeting,
it's really sparse, the last.
I mean, it's ebb and flowed year over year from the last meeting when Trustee Bright handed us showed us the document about, over the years. I mean, it could spike tomorrow, you just never know.
Yeah, I kind of thought with the moratorium, so that is when someone applies for energy assistance, and by law, they're not allowed to be disconnected from their utilities. Now, that doesn't include water, but that's like propane and electric from, I believe it's December 10th to March 7th. So I actually thought, okay, now that March 7th or 8th is here, we're gonna get some numbers picked up. The only other thing I can think of is maybe people are not living out here anymore, or maybe they're moving out of the area, out of Monroe County in general, because it's kind of expensive to live here. But I mean, landlords know that we're here, utility companies know that we're here. I mean, I've got flyers up. I'm not sure what else to.
Yeah, nothing's changed as far as them contacting you, so.
No, but I mean, it's interesting. It's an interesting thought of, has the demographic changed? Have more people have been selling and more people have been buying? And
I can ask the other trustees too to see what their numbers are like, both last year and so far this year. Because a few years ago, well, it was a year or two ago when all of our numbers went down, and we don't really know why.
It seems like Bloomington they're pretty steady in terms of like what they're servicing, people. It seems like they get a steady flow of people from what I've seen. But
Well, Joe, you've got the stuff from last month's. Did I put the township assistance trends
Yeah, I mean, you had the trends on there, and they were,
For
Or stuff
like
larger, too,
all the townships, like in the last 3 years.
I think so. I can maybe find that pretty quick. Are you referring to the scorecard that you had?
Mhm.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, I mean, they're a lot bigger than we are too, so.
But you know, people maybe don't wanna move out here if they're potentially low income because there's no bus routes. There's no way to, you know, there's not really a lot of jobs out here.
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they have.
Bloomington requests from 24 to 25 actually increased. But we don't have numbers for, obviously, for 2026. But that would be interesting to get at least, you know, Bloomington and Washington and, you know, anything else closer where that might be comparable. I mean, Washington dipped considerably from 24 to 25, from 19 to 5 requests.
And what was our number during that time?
Benton went from 75 to 47.
Okay.
So they saw, looks like a larger decrease.
But we also count anybody that requests,
True.
anybody that makes a phone call or pushes a button as a request. That might actually be interested to get you know, how many applications.
Yeah. So, and there's not a lot of quote unquote new construction out here either.
Yeah.
And we don't have any apartment complexes really.
That's a big one. Okay. Well, I'm seeing that there is no public comment. Are we done for the night? Anybody have anything else to bring up? All right. It is 6:58. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
We'll vote by roll call. Dawes?
Yes.
Husk? Yes. McInerney?
Yes.
Motion passes. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
You're welcome.
Hope you feel better.